Awesome-Wav.
Yeah, just going to go remind everyone what it does, say what we've done to improve it, what we got in the works. Okay, so we just, what our project does is it takes arbitrary data and securely hides it in audio files.
Air quotes around security.
Yeah. So it takes the files it takes the file you're putting in, compresses it, encrypts it, encodes it in the audio file. Then later you can extract it from the file and decrypt and decompress. There you go. So we've had a lot of bug fixes. We've cleaned up compilation a bit. It's a lot nicer, and you don't get a huge slew of warning messages anymore. They're all gone.
The warning messages all derive from the FLAC library, because we're compiling FLAC along with everything else. And because FLAC hasn't been updated in like 6 years or something like that, it doesn't play very nicely with modern compilers. So they can warn about all kinds of random things.
Yeah. So updated the FLAC library to not do those nasty things. It's a lot cleaner.
Nice.
Tim, you've been working.
Okay, I've been working primarily on trying to figure out how to get it to replace your data, because right now what it does is it takes whatever data you have, figures out, okay, I can store this much data using however many bits of your file. So using a 16-bit WAV file, it'll say, okay, I can store your data in there if I eat the least significant bit, or the two least significant bits for the whole data stream. But there's also a possibility that whatever data you're feeding it actually looks very similar to the data that is the audio somewhere else in the file. So I'm trying to make it compare your data to the data in the WAV file and then reposition where it actually stores the data stream so that it lines up better, so it's harder to detect, which has been a lot more of a pain in the neck than I thought it was going to be. Mostly because the algorithm's kind of angry, and also I have to rewrite half of the code that does all of the encoding and decoding to handle it. So I haven't actually committed half of the changes that I made, because right now they break everything horrendously. Sometimes it doesn't. It depends on what day you catch me on, but sometimes it won't compile, or sometimes if you try and load a WAV file, it'll just corrupt it massively and nothing works right. But it's in progress, and in the past like hour and a half, I figured out another like quarter of how I need to do it to make it work. So that should be going in a couple of weeks.
While he's been doing that, I've been working on a GUI. It wasn't very, command line isn't very idiot user friendly. So I've been working on this. I don't have the program on this computer, so the screenshot will have to do.
That's kind of angry.
So as you can see, you can choose to encode or decode the file. If you move it over to decode, the data file thing just grays out, and you have the audio file and the output file. You can put in the encryption key if you check the use encryption, and you can slide around to see how much you want to compress the file. I'd like to put little numbers at the bottom so you have more of an idea what it's doing, but generally speaking, if it's over to the left, it'll compress it more quickly, and over to the right, it'll make it smaller. And that's what I've been doing. It's functional, but not as good as I'd like it to be yet, but it works.
Apparently my phone is very angry. And very loud.
No one caught that.
Oh yeah. So for those of you who didn't watch it. So what we have in the works right now, fixing some more bugs and cleaning up some more code, especially with the in-file placement upgrade that requires a lot of that. And I'm getting going on multi-file support, because currently you can only encode one file and put that in one audio file. And I'd like that to be, you can encode any number of files and put that in any number of audio files. just, on the horizon. Nothing to show for that part yet.
That's about it. So thank you to everyone who's helped us out, Morphe and Sean. Can't talk. Yeah, anyway, anyone have any questions? Starting with Joe.
Why did you end up going with the, I guess, toolkit? I don't know if I would call it that for your interface. Aren't you using like AutoIt or AutoHotkey or something? Why'd you go with that instead of something like GTK or Qt or?
I have an implementation that I'm working on with actually I started with something else, but I ended up moving to GTK Plus, and that implementation is really angry right now, and it doesn't work. So I put something up that functions while I'm continuing to work on that. It's got basically the same layout, except not everything works. So when that's functional, hopefully, because I'm putting more priority into multi-file support at this point, but when that's functional, hopefully I'll put it up. But that was something, I'd used it before. I could get something working very quickly because the GUI was taking a lot longer than expected. And it is, I currently only have it compiling for Windows there, but it does work on Linux under Wine. Actually, that screenshot was Linux under Wine. So,
do you store any sort of metadata relating to what the name of the file is that you're encoding? If you just get away from your friend and you're not really sure what this binary stream is?
No, it doesn't store any metadata at all. We chose to do it that way in the beginning sort of as a security feature, because to store all the metadata, we'd have to have a fixed format of what it all is and how it looks. And by storing that in the WAV file, you kind of increase the chances of detection. Because you can say, oh, well, if you stuff data in this program, there's going to be this thing at the very beginning of the file or at the very end of the file that looks like this. So we didn't want to have that problem. So when you decode, you have to specify a name, which it helps a little bit just for people looking to see if something's there.
Okay. And maybe a fix for that as well as the multiple files issue would just be to tarball everything?
Yeah, if you wanted to tar it, that's fine. We haven't started that bit yet.
Yeah.
That's how I was figuring we'd end up doing, saving names and such. Someone else. Go for it, Tom.
Why don't you just branch your angry code?
Why don't I just branch my angry code? Because
Yeah.
I don't feel like it.
Because you're using
Also
SVN and branching isn't easy.
Oh!
No, branching is very easy. And I also have a script that does it all for me, so it doesn't matter.
Just do it.
Yeah,
First of all, it's interesting that your argument for SVN is that you have a script to let you branch.
No, the script is
It's like a
that
smoker having a box they can talk.
The script is so that I don't have to remember that damn passkey that Google Code makes you have.
Okay, and
That's
also
all it does. Because the
I-
command is svn branch.
Tim,
Oh no.
Tim and I met up last night very late. I drove him to my house while I was driving by him, and
No, you drove me to my house.
yeah, I drove him to his house. And you mentioned the possibility of spreading out into other files, JPEG, PNG, I don't know, AVI or something ridiculous. I don't know.
AVI is easier because then I can just pull the audio stream and throw it in the audio stream again. That's pretty simple. But yeah, I'm thinking about moving into other file formats later because I don't really want to tackle the MP3 OGG problem yet
Right.
because that's really, really angry.
actually completely unrelated to what's actually on SVN. I have a little sample script that I threw together to see how hard it would be to throw data into a PPM image, and it's not that bad. But multi-file support is coming first.
It'd be cool if you could like put data in anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kind of breaks the name of the project, though.
Right.
We also discussed that last
Yeah.
night in his car.
Awesome.
It was kind of funny. Awesome stuff. Go for it.
You were talking about the multiple methods of encoding in the file. How are you able to do something like that without leaving some marker in the file that like there's stored data?
You don't. You do have to store some data.
Yeah, so like there's a marker. in
But
the
because
file.
of the limitations I'm putting on how to do it, I only need 2 bits. So if I take the 2 least significant bits of the first 2 samples, that's all that I need to make it work, and that's going to be pretty difficult to detect or care about.
Yeah.
So that's my argument there.
Makes sense.
Anything else? That's it then, thank you.